So all over the world, I'm trying to get my point out there that you wouldn't be alive, you wouldn't have food that you could make from, I'm eating this, to, wow. You can't get a miracle from, can I freaking somehow have God come down and destroy this person for me for trying to hurt me? No, but can you have a miracle of hiding in the closet, the killer walks through the house and leaves, or, that person didn't even think about showing up at that time, and then they showed up late, and then since I was there earlier waiting, and I was the guy that getting picked on but ready to stand up for myself, I went home, but everyone saw that. There are miracles out there left and right, but nobody is paying attention to them. Now, when I talk about everything that I've touched down on, I'm pretty enlighteningful when it comes to streets, when it comes to education, when it comes to wisdom. Everything is that trifecta. Who does this remind you of? Yes, that's the guy that they made up with the goat head or the lamb's head. Money, greed, pride, jealousy, envy, gluttony, lust. All of those are very real active in this whirlpool that we're in today. So, I'm pretty sure that everyone knows I respect them, all of you. And I'm pretty sure everybody out there knows I deserve a little bit of respect, whether you're thinking this dude's all right, this guy's really a homie, or whether you're thinking, what, I'll give him that. It doesn't matter on that whole part. It's just as long as it's equal. We're equal. We're not downhill. Nobody's uphill compared to anybody. We're all equal, I grew up in the streets, and I lived on the streets most of my life, but one thing I had at my father's house while I was still in his house was food. The meek shall not inherit the earth. These are things that are subliminal messages. Time does not have a timeline. Remember that. So when you add time to a quantum equation, quantum physics, quantum thinking, you have to realize time has nothing to do with it. For example, I've came across documentation of people that are missing all throughout the world and vanishing like that. And sometimes it's caught on camera. It's very sad to know that there's this type of stuff. And, those famous musicians are not behind it. This is not a angel, weird angel, whatever the heck, where it's like, hey, pay attention to this, pause it, and let's move the camera here and unpause it. They're gone. It's none of that stuff. I'm trying to explain to you that when it comes to timeline, time knows no limits. So when you're looking at quantum physics and quantum thinking, the calculation of E equals mc squared was never based on one theory. It was never based off one timeline or one man's life's work. That is the universal theory in which my theory bridged upon. E equals mc squared. Evil manipulates innocence. Do you understand that? If you're a college major, somebody just enrolled in college that was fascinated with that and already did their own studies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with ancient aliens, ancient geometry, I always say it wrong. With this whole thing that somebody has leaked out to me that is very, very scientific themselves, but sadly, people will say my resource is not on. Even though later on, after I found out this very important detail from, give it up for Choctaw Indians. Yes, that's where he's from. He's really helped me out with understanding melanoid skin oil is actually found in UV ray sunscreen. How do you just extract oils from somebody's skin? Answer is witchcraft. All right, thank you. No, that's science. What's the difference? He's right. Okay, so when you look at a wizard, when you look at anybody who is testing out their ability with witchcraft, there's the ones with the wand that you're all thinking about. That is your fault for always thinking it's only that type. Then you look at other wizards. What is he doing with that lab coat and that whole lab project? He's a chemist? Magic potion. He's right. Yes, that's how serious it is to understand what this world has in store for us. When you look at count ups and count downs, it's usually to get to the top. And usually that is a Libra scale where somebody wins and the other one gets right to the bottom. This is so amazing how I get to explain everything to all of you. Sometimes I'm on point. Bam. So, another thing I want to say is we know this. Triangle is for fire. Square, I believe, is for water. Rectangle would have to happen to be for air because it flows. It flows. When you get a parallel or a rectangle thing and it has like soda and you hold it, isn't it flowing like that constantly as you shake it? Like, not shake it, but turn it. That shows air, because water, what else is water? Water is a movement, but also a solid. So square wall, that's water. You have triangle for fire, you have square for water, you have rectangle for wind, and what do you have for earth? Rock, circle. Now we understand what ancient geometry is about. And did I learn this from anybody? No. So I explain to you what I learned from people, and I tell you what I learned on my own, which when I talk to these type of people, they're like, dude, that's so, it's really, really that awesome, because I'm impressed. But, am I going to be saying, I'm so, no, I'm just trying to teach all of you. We're all living organisms. If I'm not the guy to tell you what intellect is and teach you that God is real, if it had to be Jesus reliving again, second appearance, if he came in a second appearance of the same exact appearance, you know what that is? Deja vu. If we have deja vu like that, that means something is wrong with the world, something wrong with the earth. Matrix, hello, warning signs. That's why I'm telling you on every single different level that everything is a spider web. And we have all these points that are supposed to be a certain amount, but they're way more because it's a spider web. And we've been in it as the fly, not knowing why we're tangled up in it. All of us hard workers, all of us broken families, all of us kids on the streets, everybody being victims. We are that fly on the spider web. So when you actually start connecting circles, you find out you could actually be the spider, not the fly. You could actually win. You could actually overthrow evil. Evil manipulates innocence. Well, innocence needs to manhandle evil. So anyways, that's my theory. When you talk about triangle being the first shape that was geometry, ancient geometry, and it was the language of this intellect, you have to look at everything that was a first beginning as well. Was science originally bad? No, it got infected. This cancer infected science, and half of it grew dead, and it was called alchemy. Science could be pure. Science could be so rewarding. Your material that you make from rock and rubble can easily go back into the world and the ground and be a home on its own without making all of this putty, without making all of this drywall. These are the things that are actually destroying our world. Aminos, 19 of them that makes the earth, if anybody really wants to get into their own research, and each one has been infected and, contaminated. They actually reached all of us with all the plagues, physically, mentally, and spiritually. For everybody to, this is what happened. A group that was the infected scientist decided to be more like wizards, warlocks, and dig into this deity power. And when I talk about deity power, it is like, okay, since you all believe in God and you want to say that it was a human being form, It is like saying God has a shadow. Is there anything scary in the dark? No. But that shadow itself is fear itself. And that is not the fear that you're supposed to be scared of. You're supposed to be scared of that supreme being of the elements, all that created you in your DNA. So when you look at the shadow of the universe, you think about paranormal activity, you think about the further. And I already explained that to you in another video. I said, in your mind, there is no size for your mass, for your spirit, for your angel, for your actual being that's not, awake, your subconscious. There is no size of your relativity where you live. So when you venture off into the further, think about it. You're leaving your universe. Have you ever heard that you have a universe inside of you? This is the magic of English and me being able to kind of identify every single language, every single shape, every single type of documentation that is left in the world. I'm able to right away decipher it and help you understand it. So when you're talking about your size that is in your subconscious, you are still in an analocal mind. What is an analocal mind? It means an animated train of thought. You are still using vision. Do you understand that? Is there anybody else that never went to college for all of this that really is this? I mean, this is the part where I'm getting to freak out like, oh, you're so darn smart. But still, I'm trying to keep it cool. Do I say praise me? No. I'm living in flesh, even though I have that intellect that is teaching all of you what is organic. I do wish, though, that everybody somehow got a coat of protection, meaning everybody switched from cash dollars, which this has been a promise note since 1919. We all get a coat of protection where everybody in the world starts using credit. Get rid of the debit and start using credit. If everyone has the same amount of credit, nobody can steal from anyone else. And originally, nobody can steal anybody else's credit because it's not money. Do you see how smart and simple that is? All right, so getting back to this intellect and all of that, I want to explain that not only is the triangle the meaning for fire, but you have to look at Christmases and other dates of holidays. It's like, yeah, we don't need all these dumb holidays. We got Pajama Day, we got this and that. Those need to be known as playful banner holidays. They need to have a different title name. But when you look at the first original one, it's very important. It's Christmas. And why would the Jewish, no offense, because like I said, Star of David right there. I believe in the 5 stars. I understand everything quantum physics. And the medieval days till now, how it was all of the quantum physics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of them, how they're put in rows of timelines, time periods, eras, where everyone was starting to get more mathematical inclined because of how far we were declined, What else was I going to say? Oh, so when it comes to Jewish, they have a holiday where it doesn't give gifts, but they praise God and family. What is that called? Hanukkah. Saint Hanukkah. I don't know if the saint is part from the Catholic side or if it's just Hanukkah from the Hebrew, but that's what I'm telling you. Nobody is that different from anybody because we're all practicing the same things and we're diversitizing them and dividing them by saying that they're all different. This is incredible stuff to be like. It's kind of sad sometimes, I'm like, I want to be where it's like, dang, he's smart. And I'm like, thank you, you're smart too, you're smart too, like, rock star. But at the same time, I'm really saddened out sometimes because it's like, how long does it take to try to get some of you to understand? I mean, how down and out do you think Jesus felt each time before he was put on the cross? Like, a lot of manipulation, a lot of devastation. You praise God, I praise God, but Do you ever think about what he went through? That's what kind of really bums me out. I mean, this feels for me like I already went through that in some type of alter dimension of frequency that came to me from his feelings, and I'm going through it again in this life. Like, it's not easy to come out to the world and tell everybody that. So Israel, children of Israel, why did, in a certain sense, like 1/3 or 1/7, however you want to break it down, because of how this geometry works, you always find the answer, and it's always going to be equal. Just like how you will say 1.5, half of 1. You'll still say it's 6/12. You'll still say it's 15/30. You're like, that doesn't make sense. Well, it's still half the pie. It's still half the seed. So no matter what, when you're looking at society, when you're looking at people that were in the Amazons, when you look at people that were North America, you notice that there's always a certain amount of same amount of mass that somebody is greedy or terrible. For Germany, you had supposedly the Germans, when really I believe it was a lot of sickos that were trying to get rid of Jewish. But I believe also, the story I've heard, that even though Hitler was on that same party, he was still trying to, save some Jewish people, giving them jobs, hiding them. There's a lot of truth in a lot of things, and a lot of people have actually came at me and said, your ass, and I mean, not really too many, but really the ones that really should actually be hitting me close, like, you know what, you're right, you're very intelligent. It kind of really hurts on that part. But other people, I could meet you at a bank, I could meet you walking into a dispensary, I could meet you anywhere, and I'll tell you one or two things, and you're already like, let me look you up. And they look me up, and they're just like, wow, this dude knows a lot. So yeah, this video, this type of stuff that I talk about, it's not only if something happens to me, it's not only if the end of the world happens and we only have frequency left and some other alien that looks like us or looks similar to us or has all kinds of different, what if 100 years go by and we're no longer here, but since everybody somewhere far has that technology that we should actually already know, but we can't because we're so divided, that maybe somebody can pick up that frequency and see this type of video. Same thing like I Am Legend, same thing like everybody, where somebody needs to make a video and explain truth in case anything ever happens to this continent, other continents, or the whole planet. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. Every time I press stop, I always think of more things to say, and it's like, maybe later I'll get to it. But I think I've done a really good job from going, obviously not knowing what I was talking about in the very beginning, as far as just talking about currency and just saying it was messed up that Jesus was killed, executed, and he didn't really die. He just had to give up the vessel. That's how real it is, 1/3, mind, body, and spirit. You live forever young if you really try your best to be a good person and have fun. In your mind, you might feel like you're young, but you look in the mirror and remember, oh, she's 25. I'm already 63. If she likes me, she likes me. If not, I'm not even going to try to talk to her. Like, you have no business trying to talk to her. But still, that's how real it is in this world where a lot of people don't get it. And it's right there in front of you to know better.